and
Yeah.
didn't get home until about 5 o'clock. And during that time, I was working a day shift.
Okay.
So-
So you were out with your buddies. You don't get home till 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
And you're drinking.
And I'm drinking.
And I'm drinking. Okay.
And I'm drinking. I have to be at work by 7:30 the latest.
7:30 a.m.
7:30 the latest.
So you get home at 5 a.m. You have to be at work in 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Okay.
All right. Guess what I do?
What?
I go ahead, shower, change, get ready, get myself an Uber, and I get myself to work.
And you get right to work. And
get
you
right to
must
work.
feel like shit.
Yeah, of course.
Felt like shit.
Felt like shit. Very sluggish, hungover, everything.
Right.
Everything was going up really, really wrong. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you got your deeds to to take care of.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, 100%. But you know what I think people miss in stories? Yo, thanks for locking in and welcome to Jyim Life. Today's guest is Eddy Ball, a combat engineer in the military. Today, we're going to be talking about discipline over motivation. Let's vibe out. Eddie, thanks for coming through, bro.
Yo, appreciate you having me here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we got to have some off-camera conversation about like working out, life, the connection between staying disciplined, going hard, and then listening to your background, how you got into the military. I'm like, listen, we got to dive into this a lot deeper. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear you.
Let's do it. So today, of course, anybody I have on here, we work out, we get it in. And I can tell you in shape, dude, because we went on our nice little run last week.
Yes, sir.
And we was on it. So today, what we're going to do for our circuit, we'll do the warm-up, then we'll go here.
Okay.
First thing will be a squat overhead press. So we'll keep the dumbbell at our shoulder. We're going to do the right hand first, where we squat down and then press it up, right? So we'll do 10 on the right side, 10 on the left side. After that, you're going to hit a set of pull-ups for 10. I'm going to hit a set of push-ups for 10. We'll switch, and then we'll do 10 squats.
Heard that.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. I'm going to start the clock for us. We're going to start with the warm-up, and then after the warm-up, we get right into it.
Starting your Tabata workout. Get ready.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go through 5 moves. Each move is going to be a minute, and that's going to be our warm-up. Just get everything rocking before we get into it. So we'll do a squat arm reach, where we squat down here and then reach up to the sky. All right, we're going to squat down and then reach up. So tell me, growing up, joining the military, is that something that you decided early, or was it a last minute decision? I have a few friends that joined the military, and everybody has different reasons. At what age did it first entice you, and when did you decide to really like lock in and make it a reality?
Well, I mean, growing up, it was just always in my face as far as like commercials went. It was always Marine commercials left and right, Army commercials left and right. So at a very young age, maybe around 5, 6, maybe, that was already kind of in my face. And, I ended up having aspirations to, be in the military. As I got older, I really got fascinated with the whole discipline aspect of it. Started following, certain like military personnel like David Goggins, Jocko, and
Where most people are scared, you're like, this looks
correct.
Okay.
So, started looking for it a little bit more, and over time, it just became very apparent to me that it was going to be inevitable for me to join the military. But what kind of like sealed the coffin for me was when I kind of find out that I was able to help my mom get her papers.
Okay, if you join the military.
If I joined the military.
Okay. And where's your mom from?
She's from Nicaragua.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you grew up in?
I grew up here in Mid-City.
Mid-City,
LA.
Mid-City, LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I found that out, and basically that kind of just like sealed the nail in the coffin for me. And, I did it. 3 months into me being in the military, my mom had already gotten her residency.
Nice.
And yeah, the rest is kind of history. You know?
So while you're in the military, does it like resonate with your personality? Because so what I'm hearing is there's different reasons as to why you got into it. As far as watching people like David Goggins and helping your mother out, and as far as getting her papers. But now none of that matters if you get in there and it doesn't resonate or connect with you.
Correct.
So now day one, tell me what day one is like when you're there.
Day one of basic training.
Yeah.
So day one of basic training, I mean, leading up to it, I would always just like watch, videos on YouTube about like what basic training is really about. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of hard to really get like an actual real understanding what it was like there, because at the end of the day, it's like they only show you a glimpse of it.
Okay. And basic training is like, how long does that go on?
9 weeks.
9 weeks.
9 weeks and 3 days.
Of like intense working out. Is there a goal to try and break you while you're in there, or is it just to get you in the best shape?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. In the sense that, everyone goes in there with this mindset that I got this in the bag. It's easy.
Okay.
But no one really understands that what we go in as is not what we come out as. In the sense that what we were taught growing up, the traditions, the traits, all that good stuff, the way that we think, the mannerisms that we speak, all that really doesn't matter. The moment you get there, everything that you've done in the past doesn't really matter anymore.
Okay.
You're basically a nobody there.
Okay.
You're a nobody, and all you have is just a name. That's it.
Okay.
And at that point, it's just about building you up into a soldier.
Tell me what basic training is like in terms of the regimen.
Discipline.
Okay.
Structure. A bunch of structure.
So if you're late by
a minute, if everyone's in formation and you're the last one running into formation, it's fun times.
It's fun times.
Fun times. There's no individuality in the military.
Okay.
It's one team, one fight. Mm-hmm. So one person fucks up, everyone gets it.
Right.
So that's a really good way to build camaraderie,
Yeah.
And being late to formations was just never an option for us.
Right, and everybody makes sure they're there because there's ramifications if you don't make it.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
And okay, so now we're going to go into the circuit. It will be 10 reps of each exercise. First, we'll do the squat, overhead press.
Okay.
Okay, so how is that translated into everyday life for you? As far as that discipline where, let's say, it's going to work, showing up on time for friends. What I can say is a little bit of interaction we've had. We're big, both of us, on communication. Correct. If we're going to be somewhere, we're going to get there at that time. If we're not, we're going to communicate that we're not going to be there at that time.
Correct.
Is that something that you learned in the military, or something that just connected you with the military?
So, I mean, I kind of already had that growing up in a way, but it kind of got drilled into me a lot more once I was actually in it.
Okay.
In the sense that I used to always be really about not being a minute or 2 minutes late. But because of the military, it got to the point where it's like, I got to be there 10 to 15 minutes prior, or else I'm late.
Or else you're late.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting rule.
As far as like my everyday like lifestyle now, I can see the benefits that constant drilling that I had has benefited my life. In the sense that with my civilian job, it's gotten to the point where it goes to show that I'm very punctual about myself. I'm reliable. And not a lot of people have that nowadays, you know what I mean? Everyone always makes up excuses that, I got this going on, I got that going on. But in reality, you really don't. You just gotta learn how to manage your time. Right.
Manage time in order to get places on time and get things done. All right, you got 10 pull-ups, I got 10 push-ups. Nice, let me switch. You got 10 push-ups. So, you go right here where I was at. So what I think a big misunderstanding is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Good, then we'll just get 10 squats. Is that in order to be places on time, in order to be punctual, in order to stick to your workout regimen, in order to follow your eating schedule, whatever it is, that you have to be motivated every time to do that. So now for someone like you, who I've gotten to know is on it with everything they say and do as far as the plan they set for themselves, how often do you not feel like doing it? How often are you not motivated?
All the time.
All the time,
All the
right?
time.
That's a big thing that people misunderstand when I tell them, you know, I work out sometimes 10, 11 days in a row. And out of those 10, 11 days, I only feel like doing it maybe 2 or 3, right? 2 and 1. So what would you say is the biggest difference between discipline and motivation personally for you?
Personally, for me, motivation is like, it's not really what gets me going. If
Okay.
that makes any sense.
Yeah. You're not waiting for it.
I'm not waiting for it. You know, a lot of things happen in our lives that can basically demoralize that motivation that we had or that we have. But as far as when it comes to discipline, if you have discipline, you're gonna get the job done no matter what.
No
is
matter
going
how you
on.
feel.
Exactly.
Right.
Everything around me can be burning, but as long as I have my discipline, I'm gonna get everything done at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So everything outside can be on fire, but I'll dial in what I gotta get done. And then the moment I'm done, then that's where I get to go ahead and like reflect on what's actually going on.
Right.
Figure out what we're gonna do about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure with your family and friends, they know they can rely on you. They have belief in that what you say you're gonna do, you get done.
correct.
Do you have any personal stories where you said you were gonna do something or you had something planned, whether it's to get to work, to an appointment, be there for a family member, and in that moment, it was insanely difficult?
Trying to think.
I think I'll share you for myself, right? Anybody who works with me over years knows that I'm gonna be at my sessions like clockwork, right?
Okay.
So if somebody's coming to train with me, I'm gonna be there, right? And I remember one night I ate like something that just wasn't agreeing with me, right? And I have a 6 a.m. session. So all I know is I wake up at like 4:30, right? And I'm just like in the bathroom, everything's coming out, throwing up, everything, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it to this 6 a.m. There's no way in hell I'm not gonna make it to this 6 a.m. So all I start doing is like, if shit is coming out, I'm just gonna flush and keep flushing it until it comes out. So I just start pounding back water, and then I'm warming up lime water and sea salt, and I'm just flushing the drink. So the more I'm like, because eventually it's gonna just run out. I was like, this shit's gonna run out before I get tired. When I mean to tell you, I've probably like 5:20, 5:30, I'm like, okay, I think I'm good. Right there, right on time. Because I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm gonna let something small like this be the time that I'm not gonna be on time for work. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So I don't know if it was like maybe a late night getting out, maybe a stressful thing that happened.
Okay. So this is a little while back.
Okay.
About 2 years ago. I had gone out with a couple of my buddies.
Okay.
You know, went out, had a good time. Obviously had some drinks in.
Yeah.
Didn't get home until about 5 o'clock, and during that time, I was working a day shift.
Okay. So you were out with your buddies, you don't get home till 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
And you're drinking.
And I'm drinking.
And I'm drinking. Okay.
And I'm drinking. I have to be at work by 7:30 the latest.
7:30 a.m.
7:30 the latest.
So you get home at 5 a.m. You have to be at work in 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Okay.
All right. Guess what I do?
What?
I go ahead, shower, change, get ready, get myself an Uber, and I get myself to work.
And you get right to work. And
get
you
right to
must
work.
feel like shit.
Yeah, of course.
Felt like shit.
Felt like shit. Very sluggish, hungover, everything.
Right.
Everything was going up really, really wrong. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you got your deeds to take care of.
Yes.
right?
Yes, 100%. But you know what I think people miss in stories like that, which is very important to point out, is that because you know hold yourself to that regard, you're gonna make sure next time you make a better decision.
Correct.
Right? So some
Correct.
people think like, oh, if you needed rest, you should have rested. Like, no. This is almost my way of punishing myself.
Yeah.
And letting myself know, and when I say punishment, a way of like acknowledging I can make better decisions,
Yeah.
and you always bring it back on yourself, and you make better decisions next
Correct.
time, right?
Correct.
So I recognize that
Correct.
because I do the same shit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We get 2 more. 2 and 1. Good. What's your eating regimen like? Do you follow a specific plan, or you just kind of go with like how you feel?
So I don't really have a plan. It's just I know what I have to eat
Okay.
in order to get the proper protein in my system, you know?
Right.
So all I really do, I mean, right now it's kind of like a bulking phase for me. So I try to eat a lot more, try to have like a higher calorie surplus than I normally do. So I eat about 3 to 4 times a day. Well,
Okay.
at least I try to.
Okay.
But I'll have my first meal anywhere between 7 to 10 in the morning.
Okay.
Second meal around 12:02. Third meal anywhere between like 5 to 7.
Okay.
Each meal I always pair it up with a protein shake.
Okay. Oh, each meal. Oh, okay. So that's how you put on. Because I remember before you were
Yeah.
telling me you put on how much weight recently?
So I used to weigh like anywhere between 173 to like 176.
And now you're at
And now I'm at 195.
195. And you just paired each meal with a protein shake.
Correct.
I like that. Okay. So on top of your workout regimen.
Correct.
Okay. So now, the reason why I ask is because I'm sure there are times that hang out with friends, dating, family, whatever it is, you have to exercise foresight.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning like, okay, if I go do this, that means I won't be able to follow what I designed for myself. In those moments, is it that you're pre-planning ahead? And do you communicate that? How do you just like kind of navigate that dealing with friends or family, knowing that you have a regimen you like to follow?
I mean, to be honest, they kind of already like know like what my lifestyle is like. So they're not really too uptight when it comes to like certain things like that. But I'm very self-conscious when it comes to things like that because in order for me to actually see progress, I need to minimize other things in my life. For example, alcohol is a big one.
Okay.
I get invited to hang out with my friends all the time now, and it's like very hard for me to hang out with them because what's always going to be in there? You know,
Right,
there's always going to be
right.
alcohol involved with like, hanging out with my friends,
Yeah.
right? So the way I see it, it's just like I can go ahead and spend the entire day, eat clean, work out, do everything right, just to throw it all away. Going out with a couple friends, having a couple drinks. So what good does me going to work out every single day just to go ahead and end it off with some alcohol?
Right.
So
Let me get pull-ups.
So as far as my friends and family go, like they're very understanding about that. And if anything, I'm the one that's always trying to promote healthy lifestyle benefits for them.
That's a nice set. Let me get that. I got the close grip before. Let me get the wide grip like you on this one.
That was good.
Eddy's pull-up serious, huh?
Yeah.
10. 4, 3, 2, 1. So what I heard is, and what I really like that we've got a chance to hang out a couple of times and talk is I see a lot of similarities in our personalities. We go squats. 10 is that because I'm so definitive on who I am as a person, right? And that includes growth and evolving and understanding. But because people understand who I am, and I'm very open and communicative when I'm telling them how to care for me as a loved one.
Okay.
They then understand me, right? And now those conversations become less and less. Now it's not like, oh, Jyim, why you ain't drinking tonight? It doesn't that. They're like, are you drinking tonight? Because I've taught them how to, in other words, love me as a friend of family.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I see that with you when you say they already know, right? Because you've been very open and honest about what's important to you.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, it's a circle because now it allows you to show up for them
Exactly.
the way that's best for everybody.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And that's something I think that people don't take into consideration.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of times when we think of discipline, we think of boring. We think of not having fun.
Old.
Right? All these things that come into play, but like, no. Discipline actually allows you the freedom to do all the things that you really want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And to do it at your 100% capacity.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Very much so. One of my friends told me she saw a meme, and it was like a group of friends inviting someone else out, and they're like, "Hey, you want to go out tonight?" She's like, "No, I'm busy getting ready for tomorrow." Right? And now it's not saying to never go out, but just have that understanding that I choose when that happens because I know when it works for me the best.
That discipline.
Yes. Yeah. That's everything. There was a cool quote that I had to put up on the wall back there where it was like, the only ones that are disciplined in life, the only ones that are free in life are the ones who are disciplined. The indisciplined are a slave to their moods, right? And at first, like we were saying, people would think discipline is lack of freedom. But it's don't you feel like you have the most freedom because you're disciplined?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing about having discipline is structure.
Structure.
Not a lot of people have structure nowadays, so everything around them is very chaotic. Everything outside of their lives is very chaotic already as it is, because it's not in their control. And then everything in their own life is kind of chaotic too, because they don't have that structure to have that peace of mind to actually properly think and start, looking for what ways can I go ahead and better help myself to be more disciplined in this, or have more discipline in this, allow myself to actually go work out. Because majority of people that don't have a structural lifestyle, they don't work out.
Right.
Why? Right. What's the reason?
Right.
What's the reason? What do they tell you if you ask them why
Oh
they work out?
all kind of things. Well, I don't have time to work out. Working out is too much. I get tired.
Yeah, it's too far from me.
It's too far from me. Yeah.
I don't have a gym at the house.
Yeah, every you could think of everything that makes it that puts obstacles in the front of it.
Compared to if you're someone that has a structural routine as far as job goes, you know what you have to get done as far as your to-do list. You know what I mean? So you have all that down. It comes to a point where it's just comes to a point where it's just natural for you. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's like you set that structure, you create those neural pathways of habits, and now it becomes your norm, and it becomes a lot easier, right? I love the fact that you brought up structure, because what structure does, it allows you to be in alignment with what you want most.
Correct.
We all have goals, and those goals could be fitness goals, they could be career goals, they could be financial goals, they could be relationship goals, whatever those are. And I call it the 2 meetings, right? And what I mean by the 2 meetings is we all have those meetings at night when we're with ourselves. We're like, I want this, I want that, and I want this. Then we know what we have to do in order to get those things. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to save this amount of money. I'm going to invest this amount of money. And then what happens is we leave that meeting and we get into the moment, and something is to deter us, and we forget about honoring our first meeting, right? But when there's structure, you say, no, I can't do this, to honor and be in alignment with what I set forth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
I like
Hit
that.
the cup. You going for the wide grip again?
Yeah.
Go for it. Means I got to hit it too.
You doing close grip?
I did close for the first one.
Okay.
Go ahead. You can get that because I got close for the first one, but I still owe you one wide. Out of your friends and family, would you say that what percentage do you think are as disciplined as you? You're the minority?
I mean, my brother,
Okay.
but I mean, he doesn't really count. He's like military too.
He's military too, right.
A couple of my friends, not too many of them. Again, military background as well.
Okay.
But as far as like regular like civilians go, not many.
Not many.
My sisters are trying to incorporate that lifestyle now. You know, now that they're getting older and stuff.
Right.
You know, I tried taking them out, get a workout in, teach them a couple things, and then now it's just having them find their way, and like learning to appreciate and like love having a better lifestyle.
Yeah. It's almost kind of accepting if you're going to choose the life of structure and discipline, we're going to be the minority.
Correct.
So it's a balance of, squats, of understanding that we'll be the minority, but also having a small group of us that we share that similar language and that similar culture, because you kind of need that to keep each other on check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think when you have like a solid crew, you don't even need a lot. Yeah. Even if it's like 3 to 4 you guys, even 2. If you can't find any, you need at least one.
You need at least one.
At least one.
One.
One solid person that believes in discipline like it's a spirituality, the way you believe in it. Because what happens is you then push yourselves a step further, right? So it's like, if I know I have this structure and I'm moving along, this one person may be like, hey, I think we could do a little bit more. And then you're ready to go there, or if we miss blind spots. And then it becomes sort of like your value system that you guys have, and it makes things so much easier.
Yeah.
And I know you've been in these positions before where it's sometimes trying to explain to people why you're disciplined, right? Well, why you can do that? You have fun. But now if you have that one rider with you, you at least know you're not crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, my boy get it, or my girl get it, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Back here. It's last round. 9, 8, 7, 6.
I did legs yesterday.
Oh, you did? 3, 2, and 1. So I have a former trainer. They used to work for me, and every once in a while we'd get up, talk about different things in the game, all that. And she tells me, hey, let's link up. And I was like, cool, definitely. So we link up, we're catching up. And one thing she says to me, and I'm like, okay, I know at least my verbal credit is always good. And she says, because I was running late. I ended up being at the gym later than I had planned on. So I messaged her and said, hey, running about 20, 30 minutes late. And when I get there, she says, you know what I knew? That no matter what, you would have been here. And I said, bang. Because there's something about having that verbal credit with people that is good, where now at least it makes for healthy relationships with friends or family. Right. If I tell somebody, hey, I'll be there, they know that I'm going to be there. Yeah. And if not, they will hear from me. Yeah. Right? And then now what I think it does is it kind of elevates the health of the relationship around everybody else. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Last set of pull-ups. And then we're back here. Are you with a military background and, of course, growing up out here in LA and then choosing military, everything, are you tougher with male friends about discipline and keeping your word versus women? Or
Definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah, where it's like,
I feel like for men, it should be more natural to want to be more disciplined.
right, no matter how you feel, you get the job done.
Exactly.
Okay.
'Cause I
We
mean-
spoke about that briefly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, give me a sec. The reason why I say that is, I mean, at the end of the day, majority of the time, 9 out of 10 times, every family household you go to, it's always a man, the guy that provides for the family.
Okay.
If you're a guy and you're a provider for your family and you don't have that discipline and shit hits the fan, how are you going to get back up without
Right.
that discipline?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That
All you're going
understanding.
to do is just simply dig yourself more further down that hole that you already created for yourself.
Right.
Without that discipline, there's no way of you getting actually out of it.
Right.
You know?
Right. And what I'm hearing is we're essentially defining discipline as doing what you said you were going to do,
Yeah.
what you know you're supposed to do, regardless of how you feel.
Correct. Kind of a robotic motion in a way. You know what I mean? Because once you get in the rhythm of having discipline in your life, it becomes like second nature.
Yes.
Right?
You know what's so funny? It's to a point now where it's harder for me to be indisciplined
Correct.
than it is for me to be disciplined.
Then
Because
now when we're not in that structural routine that we created for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
everything starts becoming more chaotic for us because, you know, we're so used to having that structural lifestyle.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the little, even if we're off by like an hour and we miss something in our schedule, it's gonna throw us off.
Throws everything off.
Throw
Yeah.
everything off 100%, right?
Yeah. It's funny you say that, and I think we've talked about the label of toxic masculinity, right? And it's not that we don't think toxic masculinity exists. Yes, toxic masculinity does exist, where men have unhealthy habits and behaviors that are counterproductive for their health or the people around them. I get that, but I think it gets overused, right? Or we've discussed this before when people say toxic masculinity is putting your feelings to the side to get the job done, right? If everybody stopped to not do things they said they were going to do or they were supposed to because they didn't feel good about it, like, geez, I think a lot of
people are gonna need help.
right. Because unfortunately, and I think this is the mentality. And now I'm not saying that everybody has to be disciplined because I think you have to have
pick and
different,
choose, yeah.
right? You have different segments of the population, everything. But I do believe that there has to be a disciplined portion of the population, right? And with that portion of the population, they should be respected as long as it's healthy. They should be respected versus tried over critiqued, right? And I don't think that discipline is a bad word. I think it's something that just puts people in alignment, and you need those people as well as you need other people that are not.
Correct.
Right?
I mean, at the end of the day, who are the leaders of the world? If you look at every leader in the world, they all have one thing in common, and it's discipline.
Yeah.
Without discipline, you can't, lead other people.
Right. I love that in the sense where if you're talking to people in general who want to take it to the next level, right? If they want to accomplish certain things, it's you can't do that without discipline.
Correct.
You can't do that without discipline. Then we'll go back to the squat reach up for the cool down and then reach up. Okay. Yeah. I think it's insanely important. So your brother, you said, was in the military with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys outside of the military, even your social lives, you operate the same way as far as structure.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. We're only like 3 years apart, so we're very similar when it comes to the way we run our day-to-day lives.
Yeah. And you have that camaraderie.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of friends from the military?
I got a couple of good ones.
Couple good ones?
Couple of good ones.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
One thing, I talk about my friends that I grew up with, all of them are hustlers. That's what I'll give them, right? Like, let me get the quads. I got one good friend. He's owned his barbershop from the time, we was like 18. Then I got another friend that I literally can't find a day that he's missed from work other than to do other work, right? And another friend, 6, 7 days a week as well. And that's one thing that we all share when we speak to each other, right?
The hustle mentality.
The hustle mentality. Yeah. And if we don't get a chance to link up, we all know what it's for, right? So now it becomes like our hire, right? What we now can communicate with without it being something that breaks us apart.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
And it's funny, I think anytime I'm in a relationship, I think it's also important to get the other side, and good, we'll go deadlift, where, and I'm sure if you experience this, where it's like one day, even whether it's a relationship or somebody in your family being like, you know what, today, chill.
Yeah.
Right? Let's go do something fun.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's funny because my fun is still like structured and scheduled fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, Sunday after 3 will be fun day. That's where discipline is gone for 8 hours. And then I'm like, then we're right back on discipline. But I think that that's important as well. And not to think, if we're going to the other side, is that just because you're disciplined, you can never have your moments where you're just fun and just doing your own thing as well. What's one thing you do to kind of like break free from your structure?
Ooh. Honestly, something that would always break my structure for me would be just hopping in a game.
Hopping in a game?
Hopping in a game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just hop on the PS5 or hop on the PC and play some games with the boys.
Nice.
It's a nice way to, get out of touch with reality.
Right. Right.
That's normally my happy home, or honestly just working on cars is another big one.
Okay.
So obviously right now I haven't really had the luxury to do so because I live in an apartment. But when I was living back at my mom's and I had my Subaru, man, the amount of work that I would do in my car was it was fun.
Okay, so that was your thing.
Yeah, that was my thing.
And I think that's important when we talk about balance, right? It's like those things outside of our structure that kind of help balance out so that we can get back to our structure.
Correct.
Right? What's your favorite cheat, like for food that you don't normally eat, but it's like,
damn, man, I have to say like a good pizza.
Pizza?
A nice, really good pizza, like a deep dish pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
What about you?
I think it's funny, for me, pizza, ice cream, those are my two to kind of break away. And for fun, I would say definitely just not having a schedule, right? Like, because my days, I'm talking about weekends, weekdays, everything is super regimented.
Yeah.
Like I'm always on schedule for something.
Yeah.
So literally just picking a day where I'm like, I'm just gonna do whatever.
Yeah.
And whether get up, walk, go to this place, and just not have a plan or a time that I have to be anywhere.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I think that's kind of my freedom, because other than that, everything is appointment based.
And how does it make you feel on those days that you don't have that regimen?
It's funny, I feel insanely good and insanely unstructured at the same time. It's
Which one weighs out the other though?
I think I feel good more because it's a break from the norm.
Okay.
It makes sense?
Makes sense.
Right? But let's say I couldn't do it 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
2 days in a row, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, I hear
right? But like I remember even when I traveled, I went to Japan, and I remember when I was there, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make a plan. I'm just gonna kind of let the day go by. I'm like, second day, I was like, I can't do this. Okay, here we're gonna go here, here we're gonna go here. And I felt, okay, this is much more comfortable. And I felt better. Yeah. But all right, thanks for coming through, man.
Man,
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
we banged
you.
out a bunch of pull-ups, bunch of push-ups. You know what I'm saying? All right. Till next time.
Next time.